You ever hear the quote, if nothing changes, nothing changes? It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want something to change, you're gonna have to make changes for that to happen. But what this quote means to me, above anything else, is sacrifice. Sacrifice is commonly overlooked when someone wants to progress through life. What you have to understand that when you seek progression, when you seek change, you're going to be giving up on old habits. And I'm not talking about little things. I'm talking about habits that you do that you don't even necessarily think are bad. Going to bed late, waking up late, procrastinating, putting things off entirely, smoking, drinking. All things that weigh you down and limit your progression. It's one thing wanting a better life. It's one thing seeking a better life. But it's another to sacrifice your guilty pleasures. It's another to sacrifice that comfort. If I asked you right now, seriously, are you willing to give those things up to grow? Are you willing to give those things up to better yourself? What would your answer be? No matter what your answer is or was, your actions are always going to speak louder than your words. I have a neighbor that's quite mature and he is currently trying to stop smoking. He has the holes in his lungs, he has the nasty cough, but he still seems to always revert back to smoking. And you know, when I'm coming upstairs, when I'm coming to my house, I can always smell it. And I won't lie and say that it's just hearsay and he's been giving empty promises to himself saying he's going to quit, because he has tried over the years. The nicotine patches, the vapes, every alternative you can think of, but it always comes back to one thing: cigarettes. Addiction is often hard to break free from, just as our bad habits are. But it gets to a point where you're going in circles. It gets to a point where even though you used to try, you are now used to failing and you are reverting back to your old ways. For me, what I've been trying to focus on is once I say something, I'm going to do it. Embodying the mentality of I'll fail as many times as I need to in order to make that change is always going to benefit you. I'm not saying it's easy to give up those habits. I'm not saying it's easy to give up an addiction. I'm not saying this is going to be a walk in the park. But what I'm saying is time is going on. The time is ticking and soon you're going to have a rude awakening if you don't try and act now. You have to stop ignoring the fact that when you're trying, you are actually progressing. It's the act of standing still and giving up that is killing your gains. I'd say about 3 to 4 months ago, for some reason in the daytime, I was feeling incredibly drained all the time. If you know me, you know I'm a retired napper. I do no longer take naps at any point in my day now. But I used to take naps and I used to feel tired midday-ish, I would say. You know, I would exercise 5 times a week. I would eat right. I wouldn't take any vitamins or anything like that. But the one thing I was doing was sleeping incredibly late every single night. And I started realizing, you know, when you get those eye bags and it's the dark circles, and I kept looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, nah, I gotta fix this. And I kept trying and I still couldn't make it to my desired time. And I had all the excuses in the world for why I was not making it. But the one thing that was starting to get to me was that my day was starting later than everyone else's. I wanted to make changes. I wanted to better myself, but I wasn't having enough time in my day to get my tasks done. And it led to me procrastinating, waiting to do it till later. Then I was too tired to even do it. After I realized this, I said, you know what? I'm going to set a time for me to wake up to every single day. And if I go to bed late and I feel tired the next day, that's my punishment. And surely that will get me in line. And it might be goofy, but it actually worked, because now my bags are gone. Now I don't go to bed too late as much as I used to, because obviously some days it does happen. I'm only human. But most of the time I go to bed at a good time now. I feel like one of the best ways in order to help you make those sacrifices is to honestly kind of punish yourself in some sort of way. Normally when there's a punishment in place, we know that we just really don't want to fail. And I don't know if this is even the healthiest way to do it, but just little things like I just did there. I made it so that if I was tired the next day, so be it. I want to set a time for when I wake up, and I better go to bed around a time I'm desiring for, so I'm not tired the next day and I have energy to do everything I need to do. Maturing is learning how to be disciplined and strict on yourself. Once you get to a certain age, you cannot remain routineless, and I've learned that the hard way. Have structure, plan your day, even make a checklist if you need to check off everything. It is so satisfying. But the most important tip I can actually give you is to not overreact when you're trying to make progress in something and you fail that day. You don't have to be overly hard on yourself, and we both know one bad day does not define you. I don't understand how you think one bad day means all your progress is lost. If anything, sometimes bad days make me excited. I know that I did not too good that day, but tomorrow I want to do better. I want to be able to say, yeah, I did better than yesterday. We don't have any checkpoints, we don't have any saves, any loads, but we do have the next day. We do have tomorrow. And that's the time we use to be better, instead of sitting down and feeling sorry for ourselves, sitting down and thinking, you know what, we need to restart or we should just give up. I'm telling you, man to man, even though I'm 5'7", man to boy, if you want to stop smoking, stop smoking, stop playing yourself, stop going back to it. You don't need it as much as you think you need it. If you want to stop procrastinating, stop saying you're going to do something later. That later ain't coming. You know you're not going to do it later. You never do. Do it now, as soon as. If you want to stop ordering junk food, then stop ordering junk food. Delete the Uber Eats, delete the DoorDash, delete everything, or don't use anything. Get a grip of yourself. Get a grip of your life. Be in control. If you want to focus, stop putting all your attention into numerous amounts of people. Stop having so many girls, guys all over your phone, and for you to feel like you're somebody, to feel like you're famous. You need to focus. They're not helping you focus. And stop selling dreams to the people around you that you're going to do better if you never do better. You're telling them sweet nothings. You're whispering in their ear sweet nothings, and they're expecting you to disappoint. The thing about you is that you have people counting on you. You actually have people rooting for you, and you're letting them down every single time. And they're expecting it. It ain't a surprise like it was the first, the second time. Oh, on the third time you had a good run. No, they're expecting you to disappoint them now. Now they roll their eyes when you tell them you're doing better or you're back at it again. Now, this time, you got to prove it to them. You got to prove it to them first and foremost. Then you got to prove it to yourself. And then you got to prove it to me that you can do better. Be known as someone that sticks to their word. Be known as someone that when they say they're going to do something, they do it. Those people are respected the most. And if you don't care about how other people perceive you, and you don't care about how other people respect you, you need to care about what you think about yourself, because you'll start respecting yourself way more when you stick to your word. All you have in life is your word. So lock in, because you're not going to be able to always be on your PlayStation, your Xbox and your PC as much as you wanted to, because now you actually want to be somebody. I miss my PS5. It's laying there. It's waiting for me. I know I'm going to be back to it once I put in enough work. Then I'm going to play a little Sparking Zero. Maybe even today after I drop this video. You know you got work to do. Put off your friends. Cancel your plans with your friends. They are currently distracting you, and it's not their fault. It's your fault for allowing it to happen. Don't feel bad because you want to be somebody. Simple but so hard, isn't it? To make small sacrifices. But I'm telling you from now, the sacrifices you take will pay off. Some days you're going to have to spend less time with your friends, your loved ones. Some days you're going to have to spend less time off your devices, off your phone, off your games. And every day you're going to have to work hard, even if you don't want to, because those are the days that matter. So stop being delusional. You got to sacrifice your old life for your new life. Magan.